So no, the Testimonium Flavium is not an entire forgery. Let's break this down once again. So first things off, the type of stylometric analysis that this person is mentioning is the type that the people from Christ before Jesus did. It's complete nonsense. They know nothing about stylometry. I have a number of videos and articles that show that they know nothing about what they're talking about. So this is just a bunch of BS. The fact is, you cannot run stylometric analysis at the chapter level, especially with chapters so small as you find in Josephus. So this is just complete nonsense. The whole 96% accuracy thing is garbage. It's just a made up number. Now, you can run some other sorts of stylometric analysis on Josephus, but the way that you do that is not through computers. You actually look at the phrases within Josephus and determine whether or not they are more Josephan or not. And we do have studies like this. One of the ones that go back the furthest is by John P. Meyer in his book, A Marginal Jew. That's really the one that everyone kind of goes with. We have a new one by T.C. Smith, and he actually shows that, yeah, basically everything goes back to Josephus. He does the stylometric analysis there, and he shows why we can trust that most of it is authentic. Now, the view that the TF actually goes back to Eusebius is something that's taken up by Ken Olson, and this has been disproven time and time again. The phrasing that we see within the TF is very well suited with what we see in Josephus. We can show different places where Josephus uses that same type of language, and everything within this passage really seems as if it's coming from Josephus. Now, some of these phrases and stuff Eusebius does use, but he uses them after he sees them within the TF. How can we know this? Because he doesn't actually mention a lot of these phrases until he gets to the TF, and then it's only later after that that he picks up on these different phrases. So we can be pretty certain that the TF actually influenced Eusebius, not the other way around. And then we get to this argument that the TF actually interrupts the flow of Josephus. It doesn't. The people who say that have never actually read Josephus, because if you read Josephus, it's patchwork. It's patchwork narratives that are, self-contained, and then you have another one after that. That's exactly what we see before Jesus and right after Jesus. Right before the story about Jesus, we have a story that completely finishes. Right after that, we have a new story that completely begins. There's no interruption of the flow here because there is no real flow. It's a patchwork narrative. Now, if you did any research at all on this, you would know that there's really no evidence that the TF comes from Eusebius. That's just something that mythicists claim because they actually don't know how history works and they have never actually looked at Josephus. They're just kind of spouting off nonsense because that's what they've heard. The TF is mostly authentic.